Hello, this is Ryan Langston, also known as Soto Black, and his totally baller status twisty mustache. In this video, I'll be discussing some of the major changes that will be coming to the server in the 1.8 update. The first and foremost largest change to the game is the reintroduction of the Kingdom and the Imperium. For those who were not around for 1.0, I'll briefly explain. In the dark ages of the server existed two superpowers that were locked in an endless fight for supremacy: the Kingdom of Soto and the elusive Imperium. These names have not been decided on for sure yet, but it is still a possibility. So, what does this mean for you, the player? I'll explain further. Upon entering the server, you will be given a choice to join either side. Once you have decided which side you wish to fight for, that is when your real story begins. You will spawn there as a citizen of that faction. You may choose to become a farmer within your community, a well-known merchant, a trustworthy mercenary, or a thief. But now you're probably wondering, what the hell? I have to choose a faction? I don't get to start my own town or do my own thing? On the contrary, you'll have the same power as you did before. The moment you step foot in your chosen town, you can leave it just as quick. You'll have many options. You can become a colony under your own nation's flag, or break off and become independent to start your own. However, think very carefully about this choice. Running your own town is expensive. You may want to remain in your faction for a little while, gain some coin and power. Each of these two superpowers will have one centralized location in which everything is bought and sold. If you choose to leave this area of commerce too early, the options of ways of making coin may be fairly limited. But those who are crafty will find other ways, I'm sure. So let's move on and cover some more of the major changes taking place in the game. There will no longer be some sort of song and dance players will have to do to kill someone. It's a dangerous world out there, and anyone can kill anyone. To sum it up, basically, there are no killing rules. So if you step out those front doors you built so nicely without preparation and get killed, it's your own damn fault. This goes the same for the killers. Within the game, there is somewhat of a role-playing judicial system. Each faction will have a hierarchy system of judgment, but that will be covered a little later. To get to the point, if you're found to be an outlaw by a faction, you'll be labeled as one, and it may make your life a little harder as you will be killed on sight by most law-abiding citizens. Another change would be one to the new life rule. If you are familiar with it, the new life rule dictates that players who die must pretend that the events that led up to their death did not happen. This rule was to help prevent players from revenge killing another and just turning into a vicious cycle. However, we've devised a system that is much more conducive to the changes in the rules. The new life rule is now the revive convention. Basically, when you get struck down, you are not dead. How could you be a new person? You have the same name, the same town, the same friends, and the same enemies. When you die in the game, you are only knocked unconscious and return to your home or hospital. You will have the same memories and experiences, so if there's that guy who keeps beating you up and you want to get some revenge on him, good luck. So, with these two new factions, we're going to have two entirely separate hierarchies for them. But to keep things simple, I will just stick to the Empire for now. The Empire will of course have its Emperor. Below its Emperor will have its Viscount. Below that would be the Seneschal. Under that would be the Magistrate. Now this is kind of built up in a pyramid. At the bottom of this pyramid would be the Nomads and Outlaws. Above that would be the citizens. Those would be the people of towns, people of colonies. And above that would be the community leaders, which would be the mayors of towns or the mayors of colonies, which, by the way, colonies are just towns that are ruled by one of the major factions. Above that is all the previously mentioned titles: Magistrate, Seneschal, Viscount, and then Emperor. So you're probably wondering, what's the point of this pyramid? It's actually a chain of command, and it's to help get issues resolved, role-playing or otherwise. If you have a problem and you are a citizen of a town, the first person that you talk to is your mayor, or community leader, essentially. After that, if your mayor cannot resolve the problem, they go to the magistrate or lord on the kingdom side. If your lord or magistrate cannot get things resolved, it moves up to the next level. It moves up to the seneschal or high counselor, and will gradually move its way up as it gets more and more important. And if it's an issue of the utmost importance, it will eventually reach the emperor or king. Now, you are not to contact any of these people directly. It will go up the chain of command and it will get resolved in that fashion. If you're a citizen of a town and you try to contact your emperor or anybody above you without going through your community leader first, you will be ignored. Now, however, there are specific situations that could occur in which it's okay to contact an inquisitor, which, by the way, an inquisitor is a person who is neutral, not related to any party, and they roam the land asking questions like, how are you, how are things going, and then if an investigation is needed, they will pursue it. You can contact an inquisitor directly if there is an emergency situation. Otherwise, you will be ignored. So, with this kind of hierarchy system, the king or emperor will only answer to their second in command, and their second in command will only answer to their third in command, and so forth and so on. So you must go through the chain of command. Now, why would you go through a chain of command? To get things done. That's the answer. If there is a problematic thief that keeps breaking into your town and you want the jailers to come and take them away, you need to talk to your mayor. Your mayor will talk to your magistrate or lord to have the jailers come get him. This brings me to my next change in the game. In the command system will be jailers. Jailers will have billy clubs, also known as sticks. With these, they will be able to set a jail cell point with a right mouse click and send someone to jail with a left mouse click. Now the thought comes to mind. What if someone were to be wrongfully jailed who didn't commit the crime? These are all real possibilities. However, jailers are not chosen at random. They will be trusted by the faction. That is not to say they may not be bribed in secret or could not be made deals with to get out early. Whether the leaders in command of the faction are willing to turn a blind eye to this corruption or not is up to them. A jailer will not be able to jail someone outside of the immediate vicinity of the townies owned by their faction. This is just a brief description of a jailer, and there will be more in writing for those who want to get into the nitty-gritty of it. So, with this new knowledge of the server setup, let's go over a scenario. You enter one of the kingdoms and decide to gain money by selling diamonds on the market and become rich. You use this money to pay players to put in disputes against your magistrate to relieve him of power and take his place. From there, you climb the ladder, becoming the second in command. Your king, so naive, does not even realize you are stealing money from the treasury and taking bribes to let criminals free. But then you're found out. All of the faction label you an outlaw, and you run into the woods to join a gang of outlaws to wreak havoc on the lands, to later retire to a farm in the woods. Or how about this? You decide to become a vigilante to collect bounties and serve justice. Your loyalty is recognized by your faction, and you are made a jailer. You will solve crimes and seek those responsible, putting them in jail and never accepting a bribe. You are known as the most upstanding citizen in the community and loved by all. Or you may decide city life is not for you. You want to go out into the woods, find a nice plot to settle down, and start a farm. After time goes by, though, you start to get restless, bored even. You decide to pick up that sword, dust it off, and walk into a nearby village and demand them for everything they have. From there, your life of heists and crime will begin. These are just a few of the many possibilities within the kingdoms. It is truly up to you to define your own destiny. Everything that was discussed was a brief explanation to some of the major changes taking place. There was a lot of thought put into all of this, and I am sure there are a few players with some concerns about the changes, but we have, for the most part, thoroughly rounded out this system and patched out the majority of the loopholes. More will be posted in writing and diagrams on the website. There you will be able to see everything in full detail. If something in this video doesn't entirely make sense, the write-ups on it should fill in the gaps. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the game.